Hi, Dad.
I
Okay, so why don't you tell me the name of where you grew up?
I grew up in the city called Tabriz in Iran.
Okay.
It's a northwest corner of Iran, which is almost the border in Turkey and uh, previous Russia. Now it's Azerbaijan, and very mild summer, which people they come over for visit to families and have a good time in the summertime. The winter time is a brutal. It's just like a Chicago. It's cold, windy, lots of snow. Uh, I born quite some time ago, Tabriz, and I have five sisters and two brothers, a big family. Basically, the school when I went to after we started to go to school, it was quite a long way, and we had to walk. There was no other way. There's no transportations or anything. In good days, they took me with the bicycle. I just sat in the middle of the bicycle and they took me. But the other days I had to walk. Very, especially in the winter time, it was hard. I I went to the two different schools until the sixth grade is over, and then I went to high school because it's only just the first 6 years and another 6 years. That's what the school's all about. Then I went to and after that I went to university, and even before I go to university, everybody have to serve in the army for 2 years. And during that time, when Shah was in power, they created a different type of servant army, just like I was as an army of knowledge. In Farsi, it would be a Sepah Danish, army of knowledge, army of agricultural, army of the medicine. They just created all these different armies, and those people they graduated from universities, from the higher education. They served their 2 years in that nature instead of just going and shooting, things like that. So I became the 6 months of the training was a train how to read, to teach how to read and write for adults as well as kids. And then they shipped us to the very remote small villagers, and we had to be there for 18 months. Uh, Something unprecedented happened to me during that time. In the winter time, the only communication they had, or with the cities, those small remote villages, was just like a horse or mule or things like that. There is no other transportations or communications. There was no phone, nothing in that nature. So one of the winter times, somehow uh, there was nothing to eat, nothing. I mean, it was very scarce. Everything was scarce, and the villagers they were kind of getting their animals killed because they couldn't support it. And one of the nights, I had the villagers provided me one person who who watched me, who, washed the clothes, cooked for me. I was a teacher, as you know, and it was a free. So, and one night he prepared some kind of a warm char, that they burn the wood, became a charcoal, and they bring it home so you can be warm in the winter time.
Mm.
Apparently, that charcoal wasn't burned enough, and it had some kind of a unburned wood in there to give me a breakfast. And he finds the teacher is dead. he couldn't wake me up or anything, and I was just dead. It was.
Oh, wow.
Then he goes out and screams, and the villages. There's only 35 villagers in that small town. Says teacher is dead, and everybody comes, and after 3 or 4 hours, apparently there was a guy visiting in there, and he knew how to do some kind of body thing, so they can revive. What do you call
Like
that?
CPR, I guess.
CPR. Yeah, he knew
Wow.
that skills. So he started to push in my chest and things like that. And suddenly I'll kind of shown some kind of a life,
You
and
came back
everybody
to life.
cheers.
Whoa.
Yeah, everybody really cheers and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I became alive, and about almost a week I could not move my head, just like straight,
Really?
because it was so hurtful. But there was no medicine or anything. There
How
was
old were you?
nobody. We couldn't go to the city because there was a couple of horses. They went and they couldn't get out from the snow. Then they came back.
Yeah.
So I stayed for 2 more weeks in that town, and then we be able to get out. The horses be able to get the road.
Yeah.
And we went to the city, and after that 2 years, I went back and working in the capital city, Tehran, in the hospital.
Mhm.
Uh, and I worked there for almost 1 year, and I was doing some maintenance work and things like that. There was not just the doctors or anything. I was trying to maintain all the equipment, all that. When they had some surgeries, I had to be there because of the electricity problems and things like that. Then I got accepted to the University of Tabriz, and then I went to university, and it was very nice. Then during that time, I took a trip to Europe, a couple of times. Actually, we drove from Turkey to Yugoslavia to Austria to Germany, and then came back from the Bulgaria, all kinds of things. That was 1976. That was quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I started to work in different place, it was construction activities, and friend of mine, his name is Saeed, actually, he is here now. He was in America, and he was doing his university over here, and he said, "Why don't you come to go to the United States with me?" I said, "Well, I wasn't really thinking about it," but he said, "Well, why don't you think about it now?" And 2 weeks later, we had a visa and everything, because Tabriz, on that time, the United States had a consulate in Tabriz, in our town. So it was it's just so easy to get the visa and things. I mean, by the time I was found myself, I'm in the United States. No, yeah, and so
2 weeks
that's
later?
almost the time he told me that, and the time I decided and got all the things together was almost 2 weeks. That's it.
Crazy.
And I'm here now after 30 some years.
Wow. That's really cool. How old were you when the incident happened with the almost dying?
I finished my high school, and that must be like 20 years, 20 years,
So, oh
yeah,
my gosh, that
20
sounds
years old.
scary.
Yeah, it was. Well, after that, I thought, hey, listen, any day above the ground is a good day.
Yeah.